Assuming most of us here are project managers or managed project managers are involved in that. And projects don't live in isolation. You've got to interface with finance, you interface with multiple teams, marketing, sales, HR, usually a lot of different areas in your organization. And the same way, your PPM tool has to do the same kind of thing. And typical integrations we see are directory services for automatic provisioning, deprovisioning, identity access management, and all that. And then we all see a lot of ERP integrations because projects need money and projects, create financial forecasts and things like this. So that is very often we'll see those integrations with ERP systems for forecasting and actuals, and HR systems for user data, time off, cost rates, things like this. We see a lot of integration points around file repository because you want your PPM to be your main central sort of dashboard for how you execute your projects. And if you can integrate your file repository with that, then that lets you keep that one workspace for everything and keep it all connected. We'll see a lot of data warehouse integrations for reporting and analytics to mix your PPM data with maybe your ERP data or CRM data, and then other reporting packages as well. More and more as organizations adopt Agile tools, a very, very important integration is integrating your Agile tool sets with your PPM so you can understand the total financial picture, delivery picture for your programs that span different teams in your organization, Agile and those that aren't. So Agile tools are becoming more and more prominent and more important in enterprises. And finally, IT service management systems or ticketing systems for, they can be a place to initiate work or to track issues for certain projects. So that can be an important one. Now, just rough numbers, integrations can add 10,000 to 50,000 to your implementation cost for each one. Some really, really complicated deep integrations can run you like, I don't know, it can be 6 figures, but those are really the high end ones. Like when you're talking about very customized bi-directional SAP integrations, they can be pretty involved. So I think 10,000 to 30,000 is typically more what we would see, 50,000 for a very high-end complex one. So, but when it comes to integrations, there are a couple different approaches that you can take, which can greatly impact how those costs end up racking up, and they also impact how you maintain it. So a couple things to think about if you decide that there are a couple integrations that you really need to have and you're looking to. So one is a file-based integration. So the ideal here is this can be a very manual process, so it can be basically free from an integration perspective, where you're taking the extract of some kind and you can even manually import that into the PPM tool. We see this sometimes for project initiation or maybe a weekly job to import timesheets into your PPM tool or take data out of your PPM and import it into your ERP. So that can be manual, or you can take that to the next step and write a script, a Python script or something like this that can automatically pull and push that integration data. And what's nice about this is that if it's the first time you're integrating the data, you're still trying to work out the requirements, it's really quick and easy to respond to this to say, I'm going to add another column, I'm going to change the frequency of this sync. So it's a nice way to get started if you're still trying to figure out what this integration is. Now, that kind of approach, of course, is not going to be as robust as a fully automated one. It might require some manual effort, but we always, where it makes sense, start simple and then add sophistication and add automation over time. It's going to be more cost effective for you. Another approach you can use is to leverage a commercial middleware, some kind of integration platform. And there are a bunch of these out there. There's Jitterbit and there's Zapier, and there's a bunch of these middleware tools that are out there that can offer canned or very simple low code or no code integrations. And the way these middleware platforms work is you buy connectors or you build connectors, and it synchronizes the data. And these can be nice because sometimes they will have pre-built integrations. And so if your needs meet those, then that can be a pretty quick and easy way to get an integration up and running. And these can be really pretty robust. Some of the downsides to this commercial middleware is it's another recurring cost you have to consider. You're probably going to have to go through some kind of information security review, and they're going to have to be okay with that platform and with those integrations. And depending on your organization, sometimes that security approval can be kind of heavy. And so those are some of the considerations with that middleware piece. Now, another way that you can go is full-on custom API. And again, this depends on the capability of your PPM tool, but especially if you've got in-house talent who can do API integration for you. And if your tools support that kind of integration, it can be really attractive to just build your own, because you don't have the recurring cost of a commercial middleware solution. You can customize it to meet your needs and do what you want. You might find that you have to build maybe a middleware database yourself, depending on the sophistication of your integration. But what's nice about this is that you can own those costs. You don't have to rely on a third party to fix it if something breaks. You don't have to rely on a third party to enhance it when you want to grow it. You can rely on your own internal development team. So if you can make that work, that can be a really, really attractive solution. So something to look into. Of course, not everybody has API developers at the ready and available to do your integration work. So this is a great opportunity to talk to your integration partner and say, hey, look, I'm looking at this kind of integration. What can you help me with? And so again, when you look at integrations, just be aware that you have this whole spectrum. You can go from the simple file paste, which costs you can cost you very little or nothing other than a little bit of work, all the way up to full-on custom API integrations that can be fully automated and can give you some really, really good capability in your PPM tool.